Hey everybody, this is John for MTG Nexus, back here with some Jund Midrange and Modern. As a friendly reminder, if you like what you're seeing on the channel, please consider subscribing, giving us a thumbs up, and leaving a constructive comment down below. So, as I put up a poll on the channel as to which other Modern deck to concentrate on this month besides Burn, you guys chose Jund over Tron and Blue-Red Through the Breach, so we are doing Jund. The first list that caught my eye was a Twitter post by Willy Edel, long time, I believe, Brazilian, face of Brazilian Magic outside of Paulo Vitor Dimir Urza. He was noted very much for being a active part of the contributor to the community down there. He is a huge presence down there. And had not played Modern for some time, got into Jund, and this is the kind of list he landed on for after several leagues, so we're going to give it a try. The only thing notable about this list is no Dark Confidant and only 2 copies of Wrenn and 6. Largely Wrenn and 6 is explained because of budgetary concerns. It is a $100 some odd card on Magic Online, and the only reason I'm able to play decks like this all the time is both the huge support of the MTG community by watching these videos, and when I had the Patreon page up, which I will be getting back up. Well, it's currently still up, but I will be revitalizing it by the end of the month, so it'll be back up by April. Allows me to use the service from Mana Traders, which allows me to borrow basically any deck in Magic at this point. So that's the only reason I'm able to afford to use Jund and Burn in the same couple of days. So as far as changes to Jund, one of the new things is Kroxa, Titan of Death's Hunger. This is very much an attrition card. Also can be a very powerful closing tool, effectively dealing 6 to 9 damage in late turns when you've already ground your opponent into the ground. And then, your usual closers in Tarmogoyf and Scavenging Ooze. Wrenn and 6, obviously a very powerful planeswalker, allowing you to rebuy your fetch lands, your Barren Moors, your Nurturing Peat lands, continue to hit your land drops, keep the gas flowing, and then your typical Liliana and Bloodbraid Elf Shell to kind of power through the mid-game, in addition to your 4 and 2 Inquisition and Thoughtseize. Lower number of Fatal Pushes rather than Lightning Bolts, because it doesn't always pair well with Bloodbraid Elf. And sometimes you do have to be the aggro deck, especially against these big mana decks floating around like Amulet Titan and such. There is some debate on what's the correct 2-drop removal spell, whether it's Assassin's Trophy, Abrupt Decay. Assassin's Trophy obviously is more flexible, but does have the downside of giving your opponent a land. I'm a lot bigger fan of Assassin's Trophy in this version than we were playing than the Snow Jund list that we played several weeks back. Giving your opponent a basic is a lot less downside when you're not trying to cheese them out with Blood Moon. 1 copy of Maelstrom Pulse, very powerful card. Kolaghan's Command helps you grind. It's a shatter effect, slices, it dices. And then beyond that, 1 copy of Huntmaster of the Fells. The one thing I will say about this list is it might be a tad high up the curve. Like, I would probably have a 3rd Wrenn and 6 over this Huntmaster of the Fells, but we were running Willy's list card for card. Beyond that, in the sideboard, you have a couple Grafdigger's Cages for graveyard decks. Keeping in mind this is a bit of a nombo with our own Kroxa, so keep that in mind. This could be better off being something like a Nihil Spellbomb or something to that effect, but for now we'll run the Cages. Damping Sphere, it has some practical applications against Breach Storm, against the Grinding Station decks, against it's okay against the big mana decks. Like, it's decent against Eldrazi Tron and Tron, but not great against Amulet and Valakut. Like, it's okay against Amulet, but they run a lot less bounce lands than they used to, and they can still tap Castle for green, so it does slow them down, but you do need to back this up with a clock. Beyond that, you have 2 copies of Ashiok, and then a split on Pillage and Fulminator Mage. So the reason you run Pillage over Fulminator or Split is specifically the card Veil of Summer. Fulminator Mage obviously can be negated by that card, whereas Fulminator Mage can be bought back with Kolaghan's Command, so there is some benefit there. I got truly embarrassed by this card last time I played Tron. When we were playing against Grixis Unearth, it was like Fulminator Mage, sack Unearth, Fulminator Mage, it was a rough going. So I have a good respect for Fulminator Mage as a card. 3 copies of Collective Brutality because Burn and Prowess is a thing. And then 2 copies of Plague Engineer, which is pretty good in a lot of spots. It's good against any type of tribal deck, really, any type of creature-based deck. So it's pretty good, kind of good in the mirror. It's pretty good against Eldrazi-tron, decent against Burn, pretty good against like anything like humans or any of that kind of nonsense still running around. So overall, this deck is very kind of stock with a few notable changes for the big mana that's been floating around in the meta. Another thing is I'm going to put up one more poll on the channel, but I am getting a feeling that even though I've introduced more content into the fold with standard and historic on the channel from Arena, I do get the feeling that the majority of the backbone of the audience is more here for Pioneer and Modern especially. So I may go back to splitting off the Arena content to the it's currently standard Nexus MTG, but I'm considering renaming it Historic Nexus MTG because I want to focus more on Historic. I'm not a huge fan of the standard format, and it's not an indictment of the current standard format at all. Just the fact that I don't particularly like keeping up with standard because, let's face it, I work a full-time job, I have a relationship, I have family. I don't have time to play Magic 40 hours a week and keep up with every format. Even people that play it as a living struggle to keep up with all the formats, so I tend to play more of the Eternal formats. So things like Modern, things like Pioneer. I haven't really gotten too much into Legacy. I think that's just expanding myself too thin. And I think I'm going to be cutting standard content out one way or the other and focusing more on Historic, as there is kind of a notable gap in the niche there where granted there also isn't a huge demand for Historic content because it's not really a very well supported format by Wizards of the Coast. But you're here for Jun, so let's get into some matches. We are here for match number 1. We are on the play, which is obviously awesome. And, so this is a hand, right? We have no 1 mana interaction. We do have Kroxa into Liliana, so I'm inclined to keep this hand on the play. On the draw, I would definitely be mulliganing this hand. So okay. So Scalding Tarn. Shadow, perhaps? Yep. Probably take our Liliana here would be my guess. Matters how you stack these against specifically Scavenging Ooze and such. Opponent deliberately discarded a land there. That's kind of scary. Ew, they may just be... they may just be Urza. They are, in fact, Urza. Interesting. Don't have a ton of experience with this matchup. Invention. It's one of the decks that I wish I could test with against Burned, but it's good to get a bit of a... Don't seem to be running some type of Blood Moon effect. So currently have 1 red source, 2 black sources. Probably just get Stomping Ground, I guess. Field Push is kind of a dead draw here. Bloodbraid Elf is coming, so it's kind of whatever here. Alright, so we're on the try to cheese you out plan, I guess. Feels like something's getting our train charmed. Okay. Actually, me getting the forest was actually incorrect because of specifically Croxa. That was dumb. Put word back on top. Interesting. Here comes Urza Claus. Here comes Urza Claus. Alright, me fetching the forest was a mistake. I have War of Invention in hand. So I guess they were for... Not quite sure what they were for yet. So they're just activating... Nope, we're in for 2. King Thopter Founder. Alright. So if they draw a sword, we're in trouble. Okay. Okay. Activate. So cast another Urza, get another dude, I guess. The question is, do I fatal push this or do I just hold on? I think I'm supposed to just hold on, right? So red, red, black, black. Dupe. Well, it's got some instants in their graveyard, so I'm going to prioritize leaving Planeswalker and Sorcery. Discards Mystic Sanctuary. It's actually kind of a good one to get out of there. Okay, so activating, put a Polluted Delta, sure. So, can put Whir back on top, so we're going to have a hard time actually beating what's going on here. They won't have the infinite combo assembled, but they are going to be gaining so much life. Okay. Putting Fatal Push back on top. Wow. I am genuinely surprised that they're putting Fatal Push back on top. Room Invention, they can't really cast. Guess they can cast it for 0. Sure. Discard Inquisition because it gets rid of the card either way. So either way, this attack's lethal if they don't block. And going out on their own terms. Alright, Dimir Urza. So, up against Crazy Jake. We'll finish this with the deck, but we all have some number of creatures and or planeswalkers in the sideboard. Creature cards, creators and libraries can't enter the battlefield. Players can't cast spells from creatures and libraries. Doesn't do a whole lot. Pillage is reasonable. Could potentially want brutalities. Don't know how good Ashiok is in this kind of a match. Could bring in these. Could bring in Fulminators, try to attack their mana. This also helps us get out of the Fulminator lock. Bolt isn't particularly good against their main deck. Other cards that aren't great. Scavenging Ooze is fine, Ren is fine. This is very much an attrition-based matchup. So, like, I'm tempted to just cut, like, bolts and pushes? Like, I want to leave some answers into stuff. And that is definitely cutting down on our mana efficiency. So, they don't seem to be running Emery. They're running the combo. Use us with trophies and pulses and collective brutalities to kill most of their big dumb idiots. And then maybe Huntmaster isn't so great here. This is really upping our curve, and I don't know if I'm a huge fan of that, but mana is hecka awkward with no green sources, so I think we keep, or with no black sources, so I think we mulligan this one. Inquisition into Goyf seems reasonable. The question is, do we pitch a third land or one of these interactive spells? Feel like I'm supposed to pitch one of the lands, so could get punished by not drawing lands and drawing a bunch of Bloodburied Elves and such, especially since we've considerably raised our curve. But sure. It's a lot of baubles. also shields them from discard spells. So Hero's Downfall I don't particularly care about. Thopter Foundry and Whir are both annoying. Foundry they can't cast. Let me just take Whir here. Definitely could argue I'm supposed to take Foundry here. Yeah, because now they get to run that out. Okay. So Goyf is the biggest clock we have. I think I'm going to get Goyf online first. And if they want a Hero's Downfall that, I think we're okay. Their Foundry is kind of rough. Again, we're still trying to bait that Hero's Downfall. I was gonna say, I guess they can't technically Mystical Sanctuary yet. Okay. I guess they can go Downfall on the Downfall, which is kind of annoying. Run in 6. I don't have a fetch land. That's mildly annoying. Yep. So we know one of the cards in their hand is a island. What am I supposed to run out here? Like, Renin 6 isn't particularly good against their Thopter Foundry setup. Ooze might buy our Goyf a turn, I guess. Yeah, they're obligated to put this on top because they don't know if we have a green source. Yep. Looks like we're kind of getting punished for bottoming that land. Okay, sure. It's actually a really rough situation. Alright, so I guess we're on the try to burn you out plan. Doesn't seem particularly effective right now. Alright, third land's nice. So green, green, black. I'm going to try to drain you out, plan. Of course, you would draw a cryptic command, wouldn't you? Yep, there's an Urza. Oof. Really? Alright, so in case people don't know, we're dead because they've assembled the 3-card combo, so you can't beat it from here. Alright. So close to winning that game. Plague Engineer is supposed to be in our deck. Like, I'm 1000% supposed to have this card in my deck because it stops Thopters cold. I mean, they gain the life, but Collective Brutality isn't great. Trophy Wren. Curve is just so chunky right now. Alright. One Bloodbraid, I guess. No Thoughtseize effects, but we do have Goyf and Liliana. I think we're supposed to sign up for this one, right? I actually screwed up the timing on that. But I guess to see what we draw this turn, Plague Engineer. It's just a faster clock. It's possible I'm supposed to run out of these here. Alright, so again, pitching mana might not be the correct call here, but I like the other cards in my deck. Grafdigger's Cage. Croxa? I'm not worried about Croxa. They have Grafdigger's Cage in the deck. Okay. Pissing Needle on Liliana, sure. Alright, so that enables me to double spell this turn, do this, not the Goif, through the turn. Putting the last card in the hands of Plague Engineer. The opponent interacts in some way here. I am kind of thrilled if you downfall here. You want to go away, just get a little bit of extra damage. Okay. Okay, Cliffs is not terrible. I think we get to go with because we'd rather Kolaghan's Command back a Fulminator at this point. Alright. Don't really truly want to give them value, but they might have like a, what do I call it here? Archmage's Charm. Sure. Guess in some ways it's better that we do that than they get value off of it by drawing two. Okay. There's Goif. Okay. Yep, here comes Urza. Have a 4/4. Sure. Not spectacular card to draw, but can at least force our opponent to be in the abyss here. access to more green mana is better than bluffing something. So we had a removal, so we'd clearly use it on that Urza at this point. Hopefully your last two cards aren't the combo, or you luck into the combo, or any combination thereof of nonsense. Okay. Now we get to buy infinite turns unless we draw something. Okay. Scolding turn, sure. Gonna have a green source here, so over into pulling up another activation. I mean, I guess if I'm going to draw a land, that's the land I want to draw. Sure. Target player draws 2 cards. Sure. Yep. More cannon fodder. A long, grindy game. Sure. Frustrating loss. Very frustrating loss. On to the next match. We are on the draw for match number 2. Unfortunately, as much as Tarmogoyf and Liliana is a great hand, we don't have the mana to cast it, so. This hand is interesting. I think we keep 3 lands and then the 3 spells. This can fetch basic swamp, green, red. Yeah, I think I'm just supposed to keep this hand. Question is, what land do we put on bottom? This forest doesn't really help too terribly much. We can easily put one of these back. Double shock lands, good mana. We just put it back. The Mire then? Not 100% sure on what land was correct to put back there, if at all. Alright, so might be up against Blue Moon Effect or Storm. Alright, so on this way we can get our red source untapped without having to shock in next turn. Alright, Storm it is. So have Gifts Ungiven, Past in Flames. So we have removal for Brawl, but are we just supposed to take it anyway? Because otherwise this hand doesn't really do a whole lot for right now. It's possible I was supposed to take the Manamorphose or the Sleight of Hand there, but choking them on their mana one way or the other is kind of a good way to attack Storm. Scavenging Ooze is a good one. Enables us to eat their graveyard and hold a bolt in future turns. So their hand is this currently. Guess they can Morphos into stuff here. Morphos in the Grape Shot would be annoying. Oh, they just drew a Brawl. Okay. Shock this in. Vulture Brawl. Eat your Brawl. Get in for 3 damage. Not the fastest of clocks as possible. Let's just play Raging Ravine this turn. Let's get this out of their realistic killing range now. Yes, Bluebird Elf. Ritual, okay. Don't really feel like we want to add to this party, so okay. Okay. mineral and a bunch of lands. Alright, and apparently that's enough. Okie dokie. Sphere and cages. Pretty good. Ashiok's debatably good. This is a card we could certainly bring in. Hates out their graveyard, keeps gifts from searching, but not a priority. Collective Brutality is a little as interesting as well, as is potentially Plague Engineer, Stop the Goblin Plan. Huntmaster of the Fells, not so great here. Fatal Pushes could be a little suspect, as could Assassin's Trophies. We leave in the bolts and the... do I want pushes then if I'm going down trophies? Might want pushes in the deck. Discard spells are fine. One copy of Run and 6 can probably go. Squeeze and Tarmogoyf are fine. Kulgan's Command, a little suspect here. We don't tend to kill a bunch of our stuff. And doesn't kill Baral. So we definitely want the cages. We definitely want to give them the D. I think shaving one Ashiok could be fine. Maybe both Ashioks. One Ashiok. Shave two Brutalities. Try it like that. Is running 6 into Liliana good enough here? I think on the play I'd be much more inclined to keep this hand. We don't have enough disruption, I don't think. This hand's at least interesting. I think we keep and bottom the Baron more. Get the Croxa on 2, potentially. That could open us up to dying to them going for it. Alright, Ashiok's at least a game plan to play to. Can just get this down. There's nothing they can really go for here that I particularly care about. Storm usually can't go off until turn 3. Okay, so they have a Veil of Summer, most likely. So I think I'm supposed to Thoughtseize them. If they have Veil of Summer, they have Veil of Summer. We're not fighting through it anyway, so sure, let them get their value. And then just hold the bolt this turn. They get to sculpt their hand. If they try to go for the kill here, they just get lightning bolted. Cruxa. Shenanigans. Okay, so they're prepared for Grafdigger's Cage. Good to know. Okay, they might go for a combo here. Sure. I was kind of hoping they would go for a... Well, I mean... Be good next turn, I think. Okay, trying to find a remand here. Okay. Okay, sure. Could draw a card. Yellow Summer, kind of excessively annoying here. Okay. That's a card. So we have what, a Pulse left in our deck to answer that right now? Gonna be hard pressed to race this Aria. Especially since I think this is basically a limit game. Alright. So definitely cannot board out the Assassin's Trophies. Noted. Alright. Start like this. Alright, this hand's pretty good. Painful, but good. So, could get a blood crypt. Could get stomping grounds. I think I just want to get blood crypt in case we have to cycle Baron more away. Let's see, you're sorry, Hunden. Elf Summer, Slave Hand, Lightning Bolts. Alright. Hand was garbage, largely kept basically on the basis of Veil of Summer. Do need to be weary of our turn, though. Or our life total, I should say. Through this turns, they played Spire Bluff Canal and that. Okay, so that means it's getting double bolted, right? Yep, sure. Untap land, please. Do I play Scavenging Ooze or do I play Croxa? I feel like I want to get a clock going here. Grizzly Bear, still going to Grizzly Bear, unfortunately. Could easily die here if they have anything. Again, fetch the wrong land. Okay. Guess I'm given. Alright, so they get empty the warrens, which is annoying. Forgot to activate Liliana here. Guess I'm supposed to cycle this just in case. No. We're not supposed to cycle that. This card in hand's a repeal. Red. Green. Black. One, two, 4, 5. I know that not blocking there was the smartest choice by our opponent. And we got there against Storm. Alright. So, that's it. Let's do on to the next match. So we're doing a short wrap-up for the first part of this league. As much as I want to get the rest of this league done, it is kind of 1 o'clock in the morning. I do have a few other small things I need to accomplish before I get to bed for the evening for work tomorrow. This deck is a lot of fun so far. We've obviously played 2 very kind of interactive and different matchups with Dimir Urza and obviously Blue-Red Storm. I think they were different matchups. The two cards that jump out to me that I severely question is the one main deck, Huntmaster of the Fells, feels a little much, and the third copy of Collective Brutality in the sideboard might feel like a little much. Beyond that, I think the synergy between Ashiok and Kroxa might need explored in a different shell. I think some type of black-red Pox or some type of midrange deck, or even a Grixis death with Ashiok and stuff could be a lot of fun. Obviously, you don't want to go too hard into that because Graveyard Hate can come back at any point in time and kind of dampen that strategy. But I'm definitely digging this list so far. It's been led to some very interesting games. Very different style of Magic, obviously, from Burn we normally play on the channel, or Tron, or any of those other kind of decks. So it's been a blast so far. I gotta give it up to Willy Edel. This is a very fun deck so far, and a little bit different than what Reed Duke or Grim Flare have been playing in their particular Jund lists of late. So it's interesting to see what different people's takes on different decks are. But Jund's gonna Jund, and seems like it's in an okay spot in the meta right now. So we have 3 more matches to finish up, which hopefully we will get to tomorrow night. As a friendly reminder, if you like what you're seeing on the channel, please consider subscribing, giving this a thumbs up, and leaving a constructive comment down below.